can't believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see, we've been volleyball'd all so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball.
Chapter 20. This is Volleyball'd. I'm Carlos,
And I'm Allison.
and we're the Medinas. And I think the best way to put it is it's been a pretty crazy last 2 weeks. It's been a pretty crazy last 8 days. I mean, where do we start?
Crazy is not the right word. The word is physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted. That is what we are. And by the way, I don't know if you can hear my voice right now. I am not sick. This is after 10 days of being a volleyball mom plus a fresh coat of pollen. So sorry about the rasp. I got a little Demi Moore going on today.
Well, I find it very attractive.
Okay.
Let's start right here.
I'm not wearing the dress. You cannot buy me, sir.
Well, let's start right here. So we are now getting to near the end of qualifying season. There's still the regional qualifiers that are coming up, but we were in the position where our 11-year-old and our 15-year-old playing 16s were over at Big South. As of a week ago, the 11-year-olds found a way to win the 11-year-old division, which, let's face it, I mean, when it's that young, they're just a dominant group.
It was 18 teams. It was 18 teams. It was a small tournament for them. 2 days. They played great. They deserved it. It was awesome. But it was not as emotional as it probably would have been, even if we'd won some other bigger tournaments earlier this year. But it was an awesome win, and we were so proud and so excited. And she was like over the moon, which was so, so fun to see.
And with only one bid available, they had finished second when they were in Orlando. They finished third when they were in Minneapolis. And they ran into some really great teams, which I can't wait for them to see again. But that was the scenario where, okay, now everybody's happy. Everybody's having a good time. Then it came around to our 15-year-old who had decided to change clubs, move to another smaller group, moving away from the club she had previously been at. And we have been so close a number of different times. We were right there in New Orleans, didn't work out. St. Louis, we had a heartbreaking Saturday where it was a really tough group, and the team that ended up beating us ended up moving on. And then when we were in Minneapolis, they were 6-0. They had to win one more match in order to get the bid, and they weren't able to do it. They lost in 3 to a really good Nebraska team. So everything came down to Atlanta and Big South. And these girls, it was fun. And now suddenly they are also heading to nationals.
They won. They won the whole stinking thing. Like 87 teams. Who would have thunk it? It was crazy. It's just when you're not supposed to win and you do, it hits different, right? Like when you're not supposed to be the ones that end up on the podium at the end and you claw your way there and then you do it, it is so awesome. And I mean, the girls were crying. The parents, we were like scream crying. I don't even know the sounds coming out of my mouth on the video that I recorded. If you saw it on Instagram, my apologies. I don't know what that banshee was happening out of my vocal cords. Probably why I can't talk today. Our coaches were crying. Like, it was special. It was special.
It was one of those moments.
Yeah.
The reason why, we always talk about the why as to when you get involved in this stuff and you spend the money that you do. Let's face it, a lot of it doesn't end up in a national bid, and a lot of it doesn't end up in having like some great performance. You're doing this because your daughter or your son, depending on what you're playing, gets a chance to see some adversity. And we have dealt with a lot of adversity through this season, and to see it all pay off. Our club, when it comes to the older kids, there's a lot of them that have never won a big tournament, and they have never gotten a chance to really be a qualifier at nationals. And to see those parents and the look on their faces and the tears and everything else, it was such a huge payoff to see how much work they put in and to see it all work out.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's been to USAV the last 4 years straight, but she still never expects it. It's still never like a given, right? You have to earn it. And more than half the girls on our team have never done this before. They've never gone to nationals. Like, we get to go experience that together, almost like for the first time. And it's the same with the 11-year-olds, right? Like, we're doing it for the first time together. And it's just like so fun. And we do not take that for granted because it is not easy. With the growth of the sport right now and as fast as people are coming onto the sport of volleyball and as good as some of these clubs you've never heard of are getting so quickly, it is so amazing to still be able to have the chance to compete at the very top level. It's just like really awe-inspiring, and it's exciting that maybe the last time ever, only time ever, that the Medina girls both qualified at Big South, and that's freaking awesome. And both won. They both won their division. That's amazing.
They both ended up with gold medals, and again, it's baby steps. Like, I thought that one of the really cool things that I saw that was posted online when it came to the 11-year-olds. So Triangle Volleyball, really great program. Like, smaller area, smaller program, and they were celebrating because we had played them in the semifinal. They were celebrating the fact that they finished third at Big South. And even though that wasn't a bid, their parents were so ecstatic and pointing out what a big deal grow to the point to get to a situation where they could play some of the top teams. And so I think a lot of it comes down to that. Now, when it came to our 15-year-old, we ended up, and let me give all credit to them, those IMG kids are good kids.
They're legit.
They're legit. Like, that was a really good team. That was a really good parent group. I know that IMG catches a lot of flack because, let's face it, if you send your child to Bradenton, Florida, and they're spending $70,000 to $90,000 depending on boarding, they're expected to win everything. And we played their 16-1 team. Those kids, first off, were really well adjusted. They were incredibly complimentary. They celebrated with our girls. But when we beat them, we started doing the numbers, and we're like, hold on a second. It costs $70,000 to $90,000 to be on that team. That's a $1 million team is what it costs to be there. So for our girls from our smaller club to get it done, I think it was a really great accomplishment.
Yeah, their middle had her first kill of the day, and every parent looked around like, well, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
It was like one of those kills that you're like, oh, we might be in trouble here.
Their outside was so talented. The first time, we're playing in the first set, and we were down at one point 12-6, and all the parents are looking at each other going, this is too much for us. They were just hammering the ball. And then I guess best way I can put it, our little grinders started grinding. And they just found a way to get back into that match. We ended up beating them, I think it was 25-21 in the first set. And then by the time we got around to the second set, I went back and watched it. We were down 24-21, and we scored the last handful of points to win it. And again, you would expect disappointment on their end, just as we've been in that disappointing situation. But those girls were so incredibly cool about how everything played out. They looked at us as y'all were worthy opponents, given the fact that they're $1 million team. So it's been a really cool. It's been a really cool 8 days for you and I to watch both of our girls get a chance to get a bit out of this thing.
Yeah, super fun. I'm still coming down from it a little bit, to be honest. Work was rough today, getting through every hour, but definitely something different this weekend that has not been happening to date at the qualifiers we've been to. It was the first one. Maybe it was because we were home in Atlanta and it was all local and we ran into more people that we know, but I don't know about you, Carlos. It was definitely the first time where more than one person handed me the kind of under the breath question. So what are your plans for next year?
And all right, so this is where we're going to really get into this. And by the way, before we jump into it, shout out to Harvey, like my new friend. Harvey his daughter plays at our club, and they came to watch us, and he was like a huge celebratory fan of watching what we were doing. And so when I told him, I was like, well, where have y'all played at? And he named a number of clubs, and they're trying to find the right club, and they feel for this year like they found the right club. We have now hit the point of club hopping season, and that's what we wanted to get into when it comes to this podcast. I saw a post from TAV, such a great program out of Texas. They ended up having a post that basically said, our national teams play against the toughest competition. Here's what we do. And it was a recruiting tool. And now we've gotten to the point where even this evening, we have friends of ours that are reaching out and saying, hey, can we get this girl's number? We have now hit that point where whether or not you've qualified for nationals, you now have this situation where parents are trying to find out where they're playing next year. Now, the younger girls, it's a little bit different. With our 11-year-old, she's at where she's at. And quite honestly, with our 15-year-old, she's at where she's at. She's in a great place. But I get the fact that we are now hitting that point where so many parents are trying to figure out what is the next step.
Well, depending on what kind of club you're at, I think there is a loss of control element that's happening where parents want to have some element of control in the situation, right? So maybe that's, okay, this is my top club and I'd like to be here because I've been here before, but I don't know what's going to happen this year. I don't know if I'm going to make the team I want to make. I don't know if I'm going to have the coach I'm going to have. So I'll start doing workouts at other clubs to just try to get my face and name out there so that I'm an option at other places. So I don't want to call other places a backup plan. For some people, it becomes your number one plan and your existing club is your backup plan, but it's happening more and more here in the Atlanta area for sure. I don't know about other places. I mean, if you look at the winter circle from Big South this weekend, there's a whole lot of clubs, one that either you've never heard of before or local Atlanta clubs that didn't used to compete at the top level that suddenly are snagging bids and up on the medal stand. And that's pretty awesome. And I'm not just talking about the club we play for. There's a lot of clubs out there. I mean, it's pretty impressive what the kind of rosters that they're putting together. So it's a whole new world, honestly.
Well, we spent a lot of time over the last couple of years. There's a handful of families that we met from Skyline in Dallas, and they told us about here's what is going to happen. And for those of you that are in North Texas, your schedule of when it comes to signing with teams, in trying out for teams or getting bids from teams, this is new to all of us in the South. The entire Southeast, most notably, like for our younger daughter, A5, like rejected the plan. They were like, we don't want to do it this way, but this is how it's now going to be, where we are doing tryouts in July. And so it's a scenario now where you have to kind of weigh out what are all the options out there. I saw a post on one of the Facebook groups, and they were asking about different clubs in the Atlanta area. And this parent was trying to find out, okay, what's the best one for my daughter? Here's the age group. And of course, it turns into everyone trying to argue for their club, their experience. And I get that, and I'm cool with that. But what I ended up posting, and I'm a big advocate for, is try out at all of them. Talk to all of them. See what the best option is. And in this case, it was 15 to 17. That is a different scenario than when it comes to 10, 11, 12, 13. In that case, it's like, develop my daughter, make sure she gets some playing time. But once you get into that age group, it now turns into, let me be in the best situation. If my kid wants to play college, fine, that's a different matter. But if they don't, it's still a matter of like, where can I play and get a chance to be on the floor so that I'm not spending the entire year being frustrated about not getting a chance to play.
And the real issue behind all of it is that you don't actually know. Like, not every club's going to give you the transparency or the authenticity that you'd like to get when you have a candid conversation with either a director or a coach. Some places will. Other places will say whatever they want to say just to get you in the door. And then it's, again, out of your control where you actually land or what coach you actually land with, what teammates you end up with, whether or not you get playing time on that team. They can promise the world, doesn't mean it's going to happen. So it's really about doing your homework. I'll also say, I would not say A club is great, B club is terrible, C club is what. Like, every club has its ups and downs. Every club has its pros, its cons, its faults, and its perks, right? Like you're going to get that no matter where you go. You just have to prioritize for yourself the kind of experience that you're looking for.
Well, we had a conversation with some of our parents that we're playing with our older girls, and it's different with the younger. The younger, when it comes to my younger daughter, we have talked about, she's been on 11-1, and we have talked about if she's on 12-1, great. We also know the coach from 12-2 because we've had experience with that. That's Erin Flynn. You can check out her portion of the podcast from several months back. We don't mind if she's there. We know she's a quality coach. We know the coaching that she would get from that standpoint. But as the girls get older, one of the conversations that we were having with some of the parents as we started off Big South was, I know you might be looking for more, but your player right now is a starter playing a lot. Does it make sense for them to go try somewhere else? And I think all the parents were really honest with each other. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't a matter of saying, hey, this team isn't good. We know we're good. But I think a lot of it was we're all trying to figure out what is the best situation with the age group. And my point that I brought up was your daughter, as when it comes right down to it with this club, she's looked at very highly. Do you risk that if you go to somewhere else and suddenly maybe she's splitting time with someone?
There was a lot of interesting things going on this weekend, too. I mean, we were taking our picture with our gold medal and ran into another Atlanta team who we played twice this year in the Liberty division, and they had just qualified twice for USA. They won the USA division at Big South.
And we played them to 3 sets.
3 sets twice and played them tough. And it's like you have those moments where like, wow, we could do this. But then you also are like, but maybe we're okay playing in this division too, where we can, be comfortable and not get knocked out on day one. But some people will just like scoff, like I would never play Liberty, or we would never play American, or we only play open. We have to play open. Open is the only way we're going to get recruited. And we've just seen all different sides of it. I think that you can find good volleyball anywhere. If you're playing at Nationals in American, you're playing teams that probably started the year in USA and just qualified in American. Or if you're playing, the very top of Liberty, you might be playing teams that qualified early at Liberty and then never won another match again. So you just never know what you're going to get. There's no like set limit to what a division is once you get to the end of the season. There's good teams everywhere.
Well, and I think this was really important too. We saw from the time we started in the first round of Big South, there were colleges that were consistently coming around our court, and it was Division I. Quite a bit of Division IIs, and it really was just a matter of, hey, can my daughter play well once they're here? There's something that we have some good friends of ours that point this out. If you're good, they'll find you. And if you're still looking just to make sure that you get a chance to play college ball, whether it's a NAIA, Division III, Division II, JUCO level, if you're quality, they will find you. This is part of what goes on. And so I guess I kind of shudder at the thought of, well, I can only play open because we've played open. And we played open early in the year against 17 and 18-year-olds. And while we didn't win those tournaments, we were always in the running. And the amount of schools that watched us, again, not winning, but the amount of schools that watched us and said, okay, these girls really have something, that's all we were looking to do. But then when we went down and started playing USA level and Liberty level, the schools still kept coming because they were interested in club volleyball players that are committed to a program and that are playing well at their level. And that's what it really came down to.
There's good volleyball everywhere. That's just, that is the name of the game. You just have to accept that. You just have to accept that there are different levels, but even the highest level can play a different division than yours.
So does it now make it weird that we now have all these parents, and I've talked to a handful of them, that are now chatting with each other about, so are you going to be here next year? And most of them, at least for us, once you get a nationals bid, parents tend to calm down. They then turn it into, hey, we're going to be here. Here's our plan. But now we've gotten to a competitive landscape where other programs start to reach out to them. It's just kind of part of what goes on now. And I think it's just the level of, for us, we love our coaching. The coaching that we have has been one of the best that we have had. We had really good coaching at 12. I think we had really good coaching at 14. Our coaching that we have right now in my opinion, I would put it up against anybody that is in the Atlanta area. And so for us, we look at it as we are committed to this program. Now, but I get it. If you decide you need a different level of coaching or you need somebody who's more invested in your kid, I think that's the biggest thing. You're looking for somebody who believes that there's something there that they can get out of them.
Yeah, and now we're part of the recruiting class.
Yeah, we are now. It's starting to happen.
Now it's like, hey, are you guys happy over there? Let me ask you some questions. Can you introduce me to the coach? I love that, though. I love that. I love that we could possibly help a family or a girl that needs to find her home because the sport does break you. You know, maybe she's broken because she's on a team that's not treating her right, or teammates that aren't treating her right, or a coach.
And by the way, they can be good. They can be good, but yet
We've been
they're
there.
not having that.
Yeah, so we're happy to introduce and make that happen because we've really enjoyed our experience. But this is just the most stressful time of the year. Like, you're already training and getting ready to play at the highest level of competition at AAUs and nationals. And on the side, in your spare time, you got to go to all these extra workouts like private elites and invite onlys and train for tryouts. And you got to get out there and you got to be seen and you got to do the one-on-ones because everybody's got to see you in the gym. And it's like, you're just asking to get hurt. Like, we're just asking for injury for these kids to just try to prove ourselves. It's like our resume of just winning on the court isn't enough. So it's a lot to ask.
as we're in a scenario now where corporate America has recognized what is going on in the volleyball field, where it is a cash cow, and so many of them are buying up private clubs all over the country. It's private equity, and their entire drive is add as many players to the roster as possible. There's something that gets lost there. Now, is that every team? Is that every club? No, not at all. But when you end up in a scenario where it's about the bottom line, sometimes they will talk about, hey, you got to be in here. They might already know what team you're going to play on, but they are driving, you got to be in here. You got to spend all the extra money. I think that's been kind of the interesting aspect for us that we have talked about with our coaching staff in that, hey, you already have a base of knowledge of who we are. And so, yeah, we're still going to do all that stuff. We're still going to do all the extra training. We're still do all the extra workouts, but we're not starting from ground zero. And the fact that the coach doesn't know anything about the player moving forward, at least as we get into the next season.
I mean, we won with 11 this weekend, and we didn't start the season with 11, but we're at 11 now, and we've had injuries. But the reason we can make it work is that we have a lot of multi-dimensional players who can play multiple positions, and that comes in handy when you get deep in a season and you're battling injury and sickness. And oh my gosh, we had a whole team go down with the flu basically, and my daughter had to play libero for the first time since she was 11. And this is the kind of stuff that has to happen when you are on a team. I am a believer in everyone on the team being a well-rounded volleyball player, not I'm just a middle or I'm just a setter or I'm just an outside. Like, if everyone is athletic and scrappy and can play defense and can pass, then you have a lot of options when things start to go wrong. And that is, I think, an important aspect to look for when you're looking at your teams for next year. What kind of athlete are they looking for?
And again, nothing against the IMG team, but I think that was the shocking point to them was our versatility, because we had different girls that were playing a multitude of positions. And so, at times when it comes to a big volleyball match, you look at a girl and you say, this is what she does. And then suddenly she does something different. And I think that kind of surprised them while we were playing, where suddenly you're like, okay, here comes our setter. and then suddenly she's dumping the ball down on your head. When it came to our outsides and they were serving at them, it was, oh, she's just as good defensively as what she is offensively. I think that was really helpful in getting that bid. And so I would just say this. If you are in that, because we're all in it, we're in club hopping season, look for the scenario that is best for your kid. Talk with the coaches. And if that means you go to 3 or 4 different clubs, just make sure that they are talking with you about what the scenario that they see, and ask about, roster size, ask about what they're doing. If you have a setter, ask about how many setters that they're planning on carrying. If you have a middle, ask about the number of middles. Ask about the scenarios so that when it comes to your kid, you're not sitting there in January and February and saying, we made a bad decision. All right, at this point, take us out.
Oh, okay. So I do have a total divergent thought, but something that came up several times this weekend. I know we had an earlier podcast talking about the rule changes for this year, and I have to say I am a huge fan, now that we've seen it over and over again, I am a huge fan that they removed the second ball double on the touch from the setter. I think that our setters have gotten more scrappy and they're playing some awesome defensive setting, if that's a thing, like trying to get to a ball and just saving it, getting it up in the air with one hand, 2 hands, whatever. And I think it's awesome. The counterpoint to that, though, is can we please stop calling the third ball that you set across the net a double just because you use 2 hands? I feel like they overcall that one now that they can't call the second touch. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Not at all. We're going to see it all at Nationals and AAUs. All right, we'll see you, everybody.
Today is gonna be the day that we run out of cash. Watching every serve and kill, it's a Tony smash. By now you should have somehow realized what we've lost. Our free time's gone, it's all for volleyball at any cost. I tend to believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see, we've been volleyball'd all so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Backbeat, the word is on the street that we're broke again. Entrance fees for tournaments our girls already in. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but we're at the bar, drinking through the overwhelm. No life beyond this far. Don't believe that anybody feels the way we do about the nets and all the chaos we're stuck into. And all the roads we drive, all the stakes you see, we've been volleyball'd all so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. The hotel nights, the drinks they keep us finding a way to cope with all this endless grind. Oh, we're trapped, no life outside. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see, we've been volleyball'd all so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Today was gonna be the day, but we're still here. Volleyball, oh volleyball. I don't believe that anybody